brought to you by Bethel School of Technology. Learn more at betheltech.net/Ken Coleman. I think the American dream is just simply, I want to live the life that I desire. I want to be able to have some margin financially, emotionally, professionally, so that I can call my own shots. That'd be my rough draft of what I believe is the American dream, which, by the way, is not just the American dream, it's the human dream. It's what the human spirit longs for. So if you're a little bit behind financially today, I want to come at this maybe in a different way than you've ever thought about your financial future. So a couple questions. Are you chasing a bigger paycheck? Or are you chasing meaning and freedom? Do you know what meaningful work actually would look like for you? Do you know the dollar amount? Got a number in your mind that says, all right, at this point, I got enough. Enough being I've got some margin. I can breathe easily. And more importantly, I can live life the way I want to live it. So what steps do you need to take? If the answer to those questions isn't what you would like it to be. All right, that's the framework. I asked you those questions, and for those of you watching and listening, if you need to, take just a moment to rewind. And I would really love for you to pause or certainly revisit later those questions in light of what I'm about to share. Because I think it's really, really important to get those answers out of your head and heart and on paper and look at them. And there's science behind this idea of let me identify those answers so that I can see where I am, and then it allows me to see what the gap is between where I am and where I want to be. Now, let me give you a little bit more data for some context on what I'm going to share with you today. Ramsey Solutions did the largest study of net worth millionaires a few years ago. And interestingly enough, and to be completely honest with you, when I first heard these results, I was a bit shocked by this. And then when I thought about the way Ramsey Solutions has taught the financial baby steps, which I'm going to review for you today. If you've never heard them before, I'm going to do a quick review of those, or a reveal rather, to those of you who haven't heard it. Dave Ramsey being our founder and coming up with the baby steps after years of counseling people about their money on the air. When I heard what I'm about to tell you and I put it in context of what we have taught for decades, and as a result seen millions upon millions of people change their financial lives, then it made sense to me. But here was the surprise data for me. I was not surprised to see engineers and accountants in the top 5 of net worth millionaires. I was surprised to see teachers there because A, they don't make a bunch of money, and B, they're capped on their financial growth. So my instincts when I first saw that, I was like, wow, I'm a little surprised to see that for those two reasons. They don't make a lot of money, and not only do they make a lot of money, which, by the way, the latest data I've seen, somewhere in the mid-60s of what the median is. So if we look at every state in the country and we look at top all the way down the bottom, the middle, not average, the median is somewhere in mid-60,000. So it's not a huge amount of money, okay? And certainly in today's world where things are so very expensive. So they're also capped. They're not going to year over year jump 10, 12%. It's just not going to happen. So I was initially surprised. But here's what we learned. 2 really distinct ingredients, if you will, that I want us to lock in on today. Ingredient number 1, they were disciplined. They lived on less than they made. And ingredient number 2, and I want you to lock in on this one, they found deep meaning in their work. And the deep meaning in their work, this idea of I am instructing our country's greatest resource, our children. I am pouring into the lives of young people. And so when they derive that terrific and worthy meaning, guess what happens? Their salary and benefits are enough. Key word here. They're enough. The teacher says, this is what I'm called to do, and this is the context of that calling. This is what I get paid. And there's not a fast-moving ladder. It's not an escalator that's steadily moving up financially. It's fairly fixed. But this is what I'm called to do. Let me go a step deeper. This is what I love to do. I love instructing young people, if I could say it very simply. And so what happens? What happens is what they make is enough because they are walking into work every day not for a bigger paycheck. Watch this. They're walking into work every day for bigger impact. Let me say it again. They're not walking into work every day for a bigger paycheck. They're walking into work every day for a bigger impact. So that what happens is they say, I'm going to make my salary enough. And I believe that the meaning drives the discipline. This is massive, folks. If you're in a situation where you're fighting this consumerism in America, you're fighting this comparison stuff that we all suffer from, you're fighting to deal with this nagging, I need more, my financial situation is not great, and I think more money's going to solve it. I think when you come back down to this premise, that, by the way, is undeniable. This isn't my opinion. This is data. And if we use the teachers as an example, then I think we need to now say, okay, what's driving me? Is it a bigger paycheck or is it greater contribution? And I would submit to you today, this is not popular, by the way. I could see people hammering me for this. Oh, this is altruistic. This is idealistic. It's a little kumbaya, Ken. I got bills to pay. Yes, so do teachers. Many of which, by the way, became, and I said they were in the top 5 of net worth millionaires. They overcame student loan debt too. They got to buy cars too. They're raising children too. They've bought homes as well. So if they can do it, you can do it. So how can you, in a situation where you are right now, those of you that feel stuck financially, and the call, the pull is to do a certain type of work that does not have a fast track to 6 figures. How do I make enough? Well, first of all, I believe you got to do enough. And if you're new to this show, you're going, how do I figure that out? I'm going to tell you this tool right here, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, has the Get Clear assessment in it, which will do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. It'll help you see what you do best, what you enjoy doing most, and the results that motivate you. And now we can begin to see where meaningful work is. And I believe that's when we get to a place of contentment with our contribution. Now, that's the first step. You can get it at kencoleman.com. Second step is I want to just roll through, and Ramsey Solutions, by the way, you can get a deeper dive, and I would recommend the book Total Money Makeover. If you're going, okay, Ken, I want to figure out these baby steps. But here they are. How do you get to financial freedom? Baby step 1. We put $1,000, just $1,000 in a savings account to cover most emergencies. We know from data that will usually cover your garden variety emergencies. Number 2, if you have debt, baby step 2 is you list out all your debts, and we go smallest to largest in our focus because we want to get momentum, and we start attacking in our budget with everything we can, selling stuff, cutting the budget, and we begin to attack those debts, smallest to largest. Once we pay off the smallest debt, we take what we were paying on that and we add it to the next, and we call this the debt snowball. You can learn more about this in Total Money Makeover. Once we pay off all debt, we get to baby step 3, where we're going to save 3 to 6 months of your income as a true emergency fund, and that is in a separate savings account. We don't touch it unless in true emergency. Once we fund that, baby step 4 is we begin to take 15% of our income, what we're bringing home, and we are investing that in retirement so that we can take care of ourselves. Once we get on that plan, that is in perpetuity, and that leads us to baby step 5. If we've got kids, we want to fund their college. Baby step 6, once we get that into the perpetuity and we're playing that out and we're investing, now we're going to, if we have a home, we're going to pay our home off. And once we pay the home off in baby step 6, that would put us in baby step 7, where we live and give like no one else. All right, that's a quick review. Total Money Makeover, the great resource for you to do a deep dive on that, RamseySolutions.com. So I just want to encourage you that, again, back to the teacher here. If you find work that is meaningful, you will then see a life that is enough. And when you have enough, you can be disciplined to get out of debt, to save, invest, and then ultimately you truly are that net worth millionaire who has the margin, who has the freedom to live the life that you want to live. That's how it works. We're here to help. Launch your tech career today at betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.